Hello. Hey. Hey everyone, my name's Naman. First up, I know it's been lots of really interesting talks. So thanks to everyone for sticking around. We promise we'll try to keep it fun. And uh, I think we got a really good teaser with the last two talks on the topic at hand for today, which is Agentic UX, designing experiences for the AI age. Right. And I think it's just like Shritam yesterday. It's a full circle moment for me, having spoken at React Day and then now back here. We have an amazing set of panelists. So first up, we have Adnan. I think you would have seen from the talk earlier, has a lot of experience with agents using experiences on the web. We have, I'll go with Ashita first. I think we got to know, yeah, she's like done 100 plus talks. But apart from that, I think she was like, hey, one role is not good enough. So she works as a SDE slash dev advocate at AWS. And if you hadn't figured it out already, we have two more people who have previously worked at Razorpay. So we have Smile, who has a lot of experience on the payment side. And then we have Zahle, who's, as you just saw, worked in the Gen UI space and maintains OpenUI, right? All right, so with that, we'll get started. So maybe first up, we should just talk about, uh, let's just define it and help everyone understand what is even agentic UX and what are the key differences as compared to like the traditional interfaces. So feel free to go ahead, anyone.
So basically, the way I see agentic UX is transitioning from having only your human users as your end users to now human plus AI agents, where your humans will now not be your executor. So they'll not be the one clicking, they'll not be the one navigating, but you will have, they will be the one driving their intent, which means they'll be more of the delegator and trying to figure out how things will move. Definitely, this is very, very new and still paradigms, and still there are many, many new ways coming up every day to how we can do this in a better way. How we can make sure that man and machine together, how do we design interfaces for both of them?
I love how you put it at man and machine. I think Smile wants to
Yes,
add.
I can. She beautifully summarized the definition. I can put an example. For example, you want to buy a shoe, right? Earlier, we used to go to a if online, right? If we used to go to any e-com platform, we used to search shoes. Then we used to specify the size and things on those sites. It involved a lot of clicks, and you then click to proceed to checkout, right? Now you just give any application a prompt that I am looking for shoes. This is my size and this is the style I want. You have given it an intent, and it tells you what to buy. So that is also one agentic UX.
So maybe just like leading into that, let's talk about so in this new AI age and well, all the agents are doing all the heavy lifting. What is even the new role that we play as humans, or like what's like the mental model for the user, the human part of our users now?
Yeah, I think we are going through a transitionary phase, but don't forget the humans. They are still our bread and butter. So don't throw your playbook out. What has worked is continuing to work. We just saw even Ashita actually reinforced the idea that accessibility still stands as a core pillar. But what you need to do is start thinking about how agents work on your website and how they are different. The chatbot or the chat support that you built in 2019 is not the chat support you should build in 2026. That
Love
the
that.
biggest problem might have been WebSockets, getting real-time communication. But here it is, how can you give agents more autonomy? Agent can respond with anything in the world. I think we just saw, Zahel also covered it. But can your UI actually render it? I think pivoting to that angle, where don't think just about success failure scenarios, think about how you can actually bring the flexibility of an LLM into your UI. Do not think that only one path exists. Be more creative when you're building your application. This does mean that bringing more agentic capabilities.
So maybe let's talk about like we've had the traditional UX for all these years. There's been so much analysis, and at this point, I think it's almost like there are established patterns as to how you do certain flows, right? But what are some of the new primitives or patterns in agentic UX, right? Because it's very much evolving. So yeah, how's that different?
Right. So we see, like I mentioned, like the roles are evolving. We are seeing how people are using agents, right? There are, the primitives that we see are, for example, there are agent orchestrators, right? There are agents, there are orchestrating agents, and there's a human that is also somewhere in the loop, right? So you see um, what OpenClaw has done. It has built a personal assistant, and one of the features, like if you have seen the TED talk, is it was able to figure out itself on how to uh, interact with voice messages, right? It searched the internet and it was able to download the packages and do it on. So the kind of autonomy where you can just, so think of it in a programming terms, you would be like declarative versus imperative, right? So you don't have to be declarative. You build an abstraction on top of how you interact with the agents. So these are the patterns that I see coming up over the years.
Adding to that, so there is a lot of autonomy that we give to agents, but there also has to be transparency as well as the ability for a user to control. So, like if you see Devin, like for example, it has this ability where if you, so say the agent has done 10 steps and you find an error in the fourth step. So, how can the human go and say, okay, redo it from the fourth step? And the human should also have the visibility that the error happened at the fourth step, because that's how we also get human trust. The users need to know what is happening behind the scenes. And one example that I really recently found and found it really interesting was this agent inbox concept that Langchain has come out with. So they were building their ambient agents, and what it does is that it shows you every transaction, every action that your agent is doing in an inbox format now. So that is again very, very new, and it is going to go evolve in a lot nicer way, I'll say. But the core concept here lies where you tell the user what your agent is doing, that transparency angle.
So looks like even though the output might feel like magic, looks like we as humans still need that visibility. But maybe over time the agents gain our trust, and then we're like, oh sure, let it go ahead. All right. What about so maybe let's talk about. I think we saw some of this in action, but how capable are these agents? Like, are we just talking about sure I can have a conversation and sure we have some. It's not just text. We have some like nice interactive experiences, but can it actually do stuff in the real world? Like, yeah, maybe let's talk about that.
Agents can do a lot of stuff in the real world to ensure agents are doing well and correct, right? There are a lot of protocols have been added as well. For example, if we uh, shopping experiences are evolving a lot these days. People want agentic experience, agentic checkouts. Agentic commerce is also gonna be a big thing, right? So that everybody is on the standard and nobody hallucinates. There are many protocols. Like one of the good protocols, any e-com services making is that is UCP, that is Universal Commerce Protocol, where you make your systems ready so that agents can also understand whether what is there in your cart, what is there in your inventory, what is there in your price, right? And it will, if you follow right protocols, they will work beautifully.
So I guess the future is I don't need to like order my grocery. I can just be like, hey, go ahead. It can even do payment. Sounds like so. So that's pretty awesome.
I think we should have a neural link.
Yeah,
I
that
think
would
I've
be
seen people making connecting with like these are the bunch of things I want to have in my refrigerator, and if the inventory goes down, it will automatically order. You never know.
interesting.
Just adding one thought to it, I echo the thoughts. I've been one person who was very skeptical about agentic AI when it started coming in its 2020s, 2022. I decided I'm not making that mistake again. The thing is, incumbents can't hold back and say, we are not going to support agents. They have fallen wayward. That's where OpenAI came up. Google had the playbook. They said, we are not doing it. You take a look at something like coding agents also. That's where Cursor, Claude Code came up. Many of the names that are household names today that we utter without hesitation is something that did not exist 3 years ago. So this is the moment to be disruptors, that don't let the ecosystem tell you, no, this is not safe. You go and pave out a path. I think that's where a lot of protocols, all of them are evolving day in, day out. But it's time for disruption now. The tools exist. I would have never thought that LLMs that just generate the next word could come to a system where harnesses are built around and brought so much capability into them. So don't listen to anyone when they say that this is not happening, because I've seen that and I've been proved wrong many times.
So I think this was in Ashita's talk. We got a sneak peek into WebMCP, which is like one of the other ways of agents navigating the web. But like, let's be real. How accurate and like how trustworthy is this right now? And yeah.
Definitely, like you have to have those guardrails. You have to give proper context to your agent. You need to have the proper processes around it to make sure that it is more and more reliable. And you need to delve deeper to do that. So that is something that I'll say. Prima facie, if you build like a very, I'll say, a simple way of building it, and if you don't add all these processes, all these guardrails, all the context that the agent needs to act, if you don't put in the loops properly, then things will start breaking. So that is very important. People often think that agentic, when we build agentic applications, software engineering is not a part of it. And I don't think so. Software engineering has become much and much more important because all the harness and everything, all these processes, they are rooted in software engineering at the end of the day, software engineering principles. So you have to bring them back. You have to make sure that systems are reliable, and you have to keep doing experimentation with all the new things that are happening, as well as all the old software engineering principles that we've built, like that we've been using to build these large systems.
So maybe let's talk about like all this sounds cool, but where in the real world right now can I go ahead and like where are agents in the real world right now, or is it still very early days?
Okay.
I guess we
Yeah.
put you on the spot.
Sure. So we have seen a lot of custom. I mean, I would like to preface we are very early, but there are companies that are experimenting, trying to build these experiences. There are companies that are fully AI native. They understand the system where it breaks, where it works beautifully, right? So I mean, I've had the privilege working with Wisdom AI, where they are using AI agents to generate reports for their customers. We also speak with Intelligence AI, where they are building, visibility for engineering leaders, what is happening in their team. So we also spoken with Standard Metrics as well, where they build an AI agent within their application, and they also have like an MCP, so that they've given their customer option to better options to connect back to their systems. Try to automate stuff. Connect to different systems within their customers setup. Right.
I think maybe one thing just something wanted to add from my side. I think earlier in the year watched the Google I/O keynote, and I think it was fascinating to see right on your Google search now you have some like Gen UI essentially experience coming right there. So if you think about it now, you could have your parents, you could have basically people who don't even know much about tech be very much using this experience. So that's I think was really interesting to see. I think Smile wanted
I
to.
think we are forgetting our friend Cursor. These are
Oh yes.
also agents. Yeah, they are doing. I think I'm liking engineering more now. The mundane thing to write code is taken away. You architect things, and you architect right. They are good.
So on the topic of coding, what I've seen like interesting thoughts coming up is you have these small systems, so that it becomes easier for the reviewer to understand like when this variable changes, what is actually happening downstream. You've seen like these kind of experiments, so it helps even the reviewer to, let's say, instead of reviewing a code, it is like an abstraction to understand, like let's say if it's even like research paper, you are seeing these kind of experiments coming up.
So, anyone wants to add to that? All right. So maybe like with any, not just like new technologies, there's always like some challenges. I think we spoke about some of them with the trust and visibility. But any others you would like to call out, which are like some of the key challenges to be solved with agents going mainstream and yeah.
I'll tell one of the biggest challenges is like agents needs if you have to want it to do a good right task, right? It needs context, but sometimes context is also wrong. So that is one of the biggest pitfalls, I think, because context is a base of agentic experiences, right? If context is wrong, then whatever result it is producing, that will be also wrong. So currently we are not able to measure like if we are building this agentic app, is this the best context we could have provided it.
Sense.
Good.
Just one thing that I've noticed is agents are extremely confident. They can find solutions. They are very good at looping, but they really believe in their solutions. The next prompt you will say that you're wrong. It would say, "Oh yeah, you may be right. Let me go and try something else, and it'll give you the same output more or less." It depends that do you have the right harness? Do you have the right connectors that can deterministically tell it that it is right or it is going wrong? For example, if it is writing code, do you have deterministic tests that can fail when it goes wrong? I think that is one challenge where the trust factor is lacking a little bit. That I don't trust an agent when you say it is a good job. I have to go and revalidate your work, which is kind of something that we need to think about offloading. I think the untapped frontier that we are just generating so much content, but how much confidence do we have in that content?
I think it has become not confident is a not a right word. It is overconfident. Like it sells us the wrong ideas. Like I have seen this. If something needs a small two-line fix, it just makes it so convincing that no, 2 lines will not work. It is complicated. You have to write at least 4 5 lines.
So maybe more from like the developer perspective, but like as we're building these experiences, what's the new sort of like how do we measure or track how these experiences are performing with actual users, right? Because I guess the traditional click metrics and others won't really work anymore, right?
Right. So here, there are two things you can check out. Like, for example, if your e-commerce website, just check how many orders you're coming. And it is the funnel that is changing, like how people interact with it. So the idea always is to reduce friction. How many less clicks can they get to the relevant answer, right? So there are a lot of observability tools that you can, experiment with. Try to figure out, how can the agent take the least number of steps to achieve a result.
Makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
the funnel is what's changing, as
Yeah.
you put it.
I think the other metric we can see is like how many times it, it produced an incorrect response and we had to correct it. And then how many times human intervention was needed where it was actually not required. So that are two more metrics we can see. And similar to that, where human intervention was needed and it took the decision by itself, which could have been wrong. That is something, another third metric you can consider.
Yeah, I think I was going to the same topic. It's just that we need to start targeting more fields and a different kind of field, not just clicks that it makes, also the interventions, the steps, the turns that it takes. So your analytics needs to be able to track this in future.
Makes sense. And any thoughts from a product perspective? I guess, as you said, it's more like the.
We're building this.
Got it. All right. So, yeah, sorry, just give me a second. Yeah, so maybe let's talk about some of the capabilities of, or rather, the means of communicating with these agents, right? Which goes beyond the text. And yes, we saw some glimpse of the GenUI side of this. But what about other ways of communicating, like say voice, or I'm big on CLI for cloud code. So like, yeah, maybe uh, how are agents and how's the UX like going beyond just like the graphical interfaces?
Yeah, I can share a very interesting example. So I'm married to a Telugu guy. So my mother-in-law wanted to learn English. Okay. So she generally says either to me or my husband or somebody we know, like, can you practice English with me? So think it is her vision, right? She wants to learn Telugu, English. So now it was difficult for people to give dedicated time. And then what my husband did, he installed Gemini in her phone, and she loved it. Like now she talks in Telugu with Gemini, and it teaches her English. So it is helping old people a lot.
Very cool. I hope she's not like, sorry, I'm busy talking to Gemini. Awesome. Maybe let's, since we're also like, close to time, let's talk about, so this is more like, want like a quick answer at max, like a one liner. So let's start with first, anything you look forward to, like really just delegating to your agent, like, oh, I would just love to, like, I think I just mentioned my grocery shopping. So yeah, maybe we can go in order for this one, starting with Adnan.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem that I've had is activity tracking. So my manager asked me, "Where are you spending your time? This is spending from weeks." I want to show him that this is where I'm spending my time. I've tried manual efforts a lot. I've tried to be very detailed in it. But if an agent can do this, that okay, Adnan, you spent all of this time here, that would really solve a lot of my problems.
I think it's really good at just compiling all the Jira tickets you've worked on and the comments you've done, and like, here you go. What about?
For me, it's probably meal planning. I've been struggling with it. Like I did not get to time to finish it, but I have built some working versions, but I'm still not happy with it.
So for me, it's when I try out a new tool or a new service. So there is that learning curve. Like I have to figure out where to click, what button does what. Not everyone has the same design language. So that barrier, if agents can actually take that for me and just let me, like when I ask, tell me if this is what I want, and if this tool, whatever tool you are, can you do that? So that I think will reduce my work significantly, and that is something that I'm looking
So I
for.
think sounds like Ashita is gonna release a swarm of agents, go explore the world, and come back report to me. Is this
Yeah,
the
I
right
mean, I would love
solution?
that. I mean, I keep so hard to keep up with AI these days. So,
Exactly.
Awesome. Smile.
I'm a hobbyist. Every day I have a new hobby to try. So I want,
Yeah,
you
I know
know,
baking is well, it's not a hobby, I guess. To
yeah,
do it.
I am very obsessed with baking. Some days I'm obsessed with playing board games. Some days I'm obsessed with playing games. So I want a planner agent basically who knows. Okay, these are the three things at work. If I did it, I'm sorted for the day. Then the rest I'm randomized what to do today. It would be fun.
I love the randomized bit. All right, awesome. So maybe let's close on the flip side, which is one thing you're like, I would never trust an agent to do this for me. Maybe we go the other way around this time.
So I honestly I'm very conservative still with agents. So what is the last say today I've given it a prompt, right? Do this. I don't want it to the last step should be a human intervention. I don't trust it, especially payments or even sending a bad email. I don't want that.
Got it.
So for me, it'll be around medicine. So I don't want an AI agent to suggest a treatment plan or diagnostics. Human is a very, very complex machine, and I will never trust an agent to do that.
I love that. It's like humans are the most complex systems. So
for me personally, like reading a lot about this technology, what I've seen is you can't trust it if there is no verifiable answer for it. So even the agents are, reinforcement learned. So all of the systems where there is some way for the agent to, verify its result, that is the only way places where you should trust. So for coding, for images, so that is where I would, anything outside it, it is outside its training data, it is outside distribution. So no point, asking you to detect if it's the right answer. Good
Yeah,
answer.
makes sense. I think that's like the more like logical and
Sure.
sort of answer. Makes sense.
Yeah, lately I've been a little concerned about data privacy. I was one person who created accounts everywhere, but I think we're getting a little too personal with agents. I make the mistake also sometimes that I've mentioned that I'm going with my wife, and next chat that I start, it'll be like, for your wife, I can recommend this. I'm like,
And I think
I don't want personal data anymore on it.
I think I remember from your talk, you showed the Chrome extension, and you like it can look at your local storage across all the, and just because it comes from Anthropic.
I think OpenClaw was the one that exposed it, that your entire computer is mine, it said.
Awesome. All right. So with that, I guess we're also at time. So great discussion. Hope you all found it, insightful, and hope it was fun. So yeah, with that, we'll close it, handing it off back to the MCs. Thank you.